will not go from being a nation of immigrants to a nation of ignorance.
Over 2.5 million people worldwide showed up to march for human rights on January 21st, and quite a few of them had a lot of inspiring things to say to their fellow marchers. Today's episode is brought to you by the Uncarrier, introducing T-Mobile One, all unlimited, all in. We are women, hear us roar. Whether you attended the Women's March in person or just listened to these speeches on the internet, one thing's for certain, and that is these extraordinary speeches struck a chord with many. From Madonna to Kerry Washington to America Ferrera, many celebrities and icons took the stage in Washington, D.C. and a few other cities to call for justice and express their feelings on the current day situation with their fellow marchers. It would be crazy to list all of the incredible speeches given that day, so to keep it short, sweet, and simple, here are some of the best ones that made a huge impact that very day. First on our list is the one and only Madonna. Although her usage of profanity caused many networks to cut away from her speech, it's safe to say that her call for justice ignited a fire inside many, if not all.
It took this horrific moment of darkness to wake us the up.
Madonna continued on to say, quote, "It seems as though we had all slipped into a false sense of comfort, that justice would prevail and that good would win in the end. Well, good did not win this election, but good will win in the end." At the end of her speech, after the networks cut away, the singer made a comment about how she has had quite a few thoughts of blowing up the White House, which of course caused a lot of controversy. But thankfully, Madge cleared all of that up in a lengthy Instagram post and said, quote, "I am not a violent person, I do not promote violence, and it's important people hear and understand my speech in its entirety rather than one phrase taken wildly out of context." America Ferrera proclaimed in her speech that herself, as well as those who were in attendance, were marching for so much more than themselves. She said, quote, "We march today for our families and our neighbors, for our future, for the causes we claim and for the causes that claim us. We march today for the moral core of this nation against which our new president is waging a war. He would like us to forget the words, 'Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free,' and instead take up a credo of hatred." Meanwhile, Ashley Judd recited a powerful poem written by 19-year-old Nina Donovan from Tennessee.
I am not as nasty as racism, fraud, conflict of interest, homophobia, sexual assault, transphobia, white supremacy, misogyny, ignorance, white privilege.
But not all of the great speeches occurred in Washington, D.C. Kerry Washington, Rowan Blanchard, Demi Lovato, and Miley Cyrus all spoke out at the Women's March here in Los Angeles, where over 750,000 participants showed up to march. Kerry expressed her frustration with the world after the election because they all called upon her and the fictional Olivia Pope to help, quote, "fix this shit."
This is not about Olivia Pope. This is not about anybody saving you people. This is about you and me standing up for our democracy and saying, I matter.
Demi and Miley were both on hand to welcome a few performers on stage, but not before expressing how proud and honored they felt to be there with so many marchers on that historic day. Much like her Disney predecessors, Rowan also got up on the same stage to make a moving speech to those in attendance.
My generation may not have had a technical legal voice in this election, but that doesn't stop me from saying that we are already the most politically active one.
She went on to say, in order to make these changes, we must be aware and constantly acknowledge our privileges. This means understanding and acknowledging that the majority of the white woman vote went to Trump. We must work harder to make people aware that racial bias and gender bias cannot be separated. They work together. Whose speech from the Women's March moved you the most? Let me know in the comments section below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Clevver News. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and I'll see you guys next time. Click to the left to check out all the celebrities who were spotted at the Women's March. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, T-Mobile. T-Mobile One is all unlimited, all in. Switch today.